it's good for them as well that we have some nice recording, that we have something that they get out of it as well. But we could maybe talk to whatever, Virgil, Lukas, Adria, right? Once we have it a bit cleaner. Yeah, step by step. Wait, I need to see my audio. Oh wait, I have to press on the record button in OBS, damn it. Do not forget, do not forget. My God, you've done that as well for sure. When you thought you record something but you didn't properly, or it was overriding something else. Oh, and then you spend an hour recording a video, and then you have to read the whole thing. Oh. Yeah. Mm, yeah. I'm doing. Yeah. Okay. Go on. Hmm. Hmm. Opus. What are you using Opus for? Mm. Yeah, something popped up. So then I need to mute you here probably. Let me do that. Mute, then jump on there. Hello, hello. Are you here? Oh, wait. I don't hear you on the. Why don't I hear you? I hear the music. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. And then I have to mute my mic probably in. Hello, hello. Do we on space? Perfect. Okay. Then let me check my OBS. That seems fine. I will start the recording. Cut it later. Both of our audio is fine. Okay. Very nice. All right. Is the stream up? Do we kick it off? Perfect. Let me boost your audio a little bit. And then I think we're ready this time. So, hey, Ivan, how are you doing? Oh. Mm, mm, mhm, mhm. Wow. Really? 25%? Wow. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. 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 Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is going to be a great topic. So, but I also want to dig into. So let's look at it from different areas because you've had clients from other markets than just American who have converted before, right? That's why also you start adding localizations when you see people from, I don't know, China come on. Um, what kind of markets before the ads have come to your app? Are they all converting decently well? Like, what experience did you have with non-US markets before this whole ad campaign? Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Right. Here we are. Uh-huh. Going exactly against what you said last time. Huh? So, but this is this now because of the wait? So is but you still think that going for those markets and localizing is good because it brings your user base organically, let's say, or from ASO. But what you're saying is that doing the ads right now is not paying back because you pay too much for the ads in those countries for not enough conversions. Right. Mm-hmm. 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 Right. Mm-hmm. 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 That's what I was wondering. I mean, then the next step would be there's also something that awaits me to play a little bit with custom product pages in Apple stores or in the app stores, right? To have different message for different cultures. I had a very interesting exchange with, that's why I was a little bit fumbling around here, looking for my laptop, with a guy here on Twitter called Henne, I think, D underscore HENNE, I believe. And it's a German guy. He's a German guy who's behind a name robot and name score and a couple of other products. Exactly. And he was sharing a very interesting experience of how, because he's German, so he knows the German mentality and how he presents his products differently on German market versus US market versus potentially other markets. And he's saying, hey, but it's not necessarily only the language, right? I can't take, okay, I'm paraphrasing a little bit now, but I can't just take one to one the text I have in the US version and translate them. In German version, I need to be, um, let's say, oriented on the value. So why does this work? What does this do? Very factual, very kind of dry, very almost academic. And that works. When I'm on the US market, I need to talk about the deal, how good a deal this is, right? Like, oh, I kind of use a bit of superlatives and yeah, show the results you can get and be kind of bombastic. And he was sharing like a screenshot from his Excel where he kind of compares different markets and how he addresses them. I think India was there as well. There the value is put, or there the focus is put on um, yeah, kind of the social status or the social value and belonging to a community and these kinds of aspects. And so it was much more than just translation. You have to also speak in a different tongue and in a different language. And it's difficult to figure out because, yeah, I mean, unless you live from that, you live in that culture, it's not very obvious. And I don't think I mean, sure, you can ask Opus, but I'm not sure that you can really sound natural unless you have a bit of a connection. So for you, it's clear how you speak to Russians, right? I would have no idea. I, I could try something, but it's never going to be as good as how you would address them because you know the little tiny details in that culture. So I wonder if, yeah, if the next step in the ad campaigns, I certainly have it on my list. It's just work I haven't gotten to yet. Is some kind of custom product pages which focus on a different offer for, let's say, different sources of traffic. All right. Mm-hmm. Oh wow. Oh wow. Yeah. Mm. 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 Yeah, go for it. I don't know if I just don't know. Even in English, the AIs are not good enough in sounding natural, right? I mean, that's you mentioned that in some previous talks we've had as well. I think we talked about Upwork and freelancing, and you said, "Hey, my competitive advantage as Ivan is I speak like a human, whereas every other freelancer or many of them, and I've seen as well, present themselves to client with some ChatGPT generated, full of M dashes text." And I agree. I mean, you can spot it. You can tell it's very with a personality. It's very somehow something is missing there. So I'm not sure. Like, how would you make that product now for culture sensitive approach or speech or marketing without relying on? I mean, you would need to have native guys that work with you. I think. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Mm, mm, mm. It could be interesting experiment, yeah, to bring whatever 10 builders together from different cultures that are kind of on the same level. So I mean, we help each other out, right? We are not being parasites on each other's back, let's say. Yeah, and to get everybody's cultural experience to build it in. It's an interesting idea.
Mm-hmm.
So is that the next thing then that you build after the
Yeah,
well now a math app?
it seems no, it seems so because it's kind of cool, and I feel like it can be like a show. And like it's very sociable thing. We can just I don't know dance around and hey, we are adopting this thing. And we can also have some, I don't know, for example, adoption to Russian language. I can present it by myself. And the landing page of the app can be very cool, like with some stereotypes, like bears dancing with vodka and some winter, etc. for Russian. So we can just be very stereotypic against ourselves in a funny way, and it also can be like jokingly approaching the other people, not in offensive way, but just to make those things less formal. And I think it's whole thing can work. But at the moment, I currently pretty much engaged with the Zen Math application, the new application I am developing right now because I'm a former mathematician, kind of. Yeah, I have the.
Speaking of stereotypes in Russia,
Yeah, I am kind of engineer with some classical education in mathematics, etc. So I did love the mathematics a long time ago. Right now, it's I still respect it, but I feel like swimming around the pool in the morning are much better than sitting around with your mathematician formulas for me right now. But a long time ago, I was like, hey, let's solve some problems. And yeah, I have cooked some app that is like pretty much educational app. So it's not like healthy app. It's something different. It's not a tracker, but it can be like imagined like math tracker. So yeah, I have some plans of trying to get some cool visas for this app because in my opinion, educational apps are very much startup visa approachable. Then hey, I have super tracker. Okay, man, we have 1,000 of those things. But if you have some
surely there's many of the math apps as well.
yeah, but they are suck ass, and my app will not. Yeah, but just joking. But yeah. But I have some original thoughts about how I can like have value of the startup exactly. For example, I have researched the Asia region, and in Singapore they have one of the best universities around, and they have very good startup programs, and they have very good mathematician programs. So maybe I can work with those guys and have this app adopted and integrated a bit more in society. I don't know. At the moment, it's like infinite feat of solving mathematical equations in TikTok style. So you just like solving this thing in an infinite loop. I have some generators already, and the system tracks where you like in calculus. This guy is like rock star, but he doesn't like know anything about algebra. It's not possible, but anyway. So yeah, something like that. It's already looking very cool. I don't know. I will try to record some demo maybe, because it feels like this app is the next stage. So I have those huge amount of trackers that I can do in one day already, or 2 days. But this thing, I need to spend more time. Actually, I started to use the sub agents for the Claude. I'm writing a little bit of code by myself. I have found some guy who will help me to test this thing, and I have set up the CI/CD system already. So I'm kind of like going to the next level, because I have like one more guy who are willing to help. I have some automated process, and I have much more time I need to put in this thing to make it better. And it also uses LaTeX, so it's kind of scientific cool thing. It was my dream like for a very very long period of time, but I have postponed it because it feels like, oh, I need to understand this thing. I need to get how to render LaTeX in JS. I need to understand this, that. And right now I just can say, hey, Mr. Claude, I I have this idea. Could you please get rid of this empty paper problem? This is like the biggest problem for me. It's when nothing is presented on the table. It's very hard to start for me. But if something is already created, I can just continue the development and do some manual things. And finally, I have found some application where I'm willing to do this by myself, not only by, hey, Mr. Claude, I have some more work to do.
Okay, but this is an app that lends itself to, I mean, it's going to be probably aimed a lot at students, huh? At younger
yes,
people,
yes, TikTok.
which lends itself to some kind of organic, exactly, yeah. But how do you, so do you have a plan already how you want to deal with TikTok? Do you use some app? Do you warm up the account yourself and use a separate phone? Like what do you want to do there? What's your plan?
My plan is to hire one poor guy, and it is hard to find someone that poorer than me, but I will try. So yeah, the plan is to hire, just joking. The plan is to hire just someone, for example, some student. I think student will have some like spare time and will find some spare bucks in their pockets with much less bureaucracy, etc. And I think like these kind of apps, if they are cool and they are nice, and like you'll find some fan, for example. So my strategy is like not very VC based. It's a strategy around I need to find someone who will love this thing, and when I will find this guy, I will try to communicate with him to help me with the promotion, kind of, because I feel like this thing is can be send it to other guy like, hey man, I enjoy solving this thing, could you can join my like competition here, I don't know, in mathematician discipline or something. I have plans to launch a leaderboard, for example, with mathematician stuff, so maybe it will also help. So this thing will have a more social features inside than Super Tracker, and it's not like so private, like sobriety or smoking, etc. It's much more social, approachable thing. Like, hey, I'm just, doing this cool stuff. For sure, this is a little amount of people who enjoy solving the mathematician problems. That's true. But the most important thing, those guys are pretty much motivated. So it's kind of, this is smaller amount, but they are much more motivated to use your product. So probably I need to focus on something much more like much less commercial and much more like true. I don't need to make a lot of money from this thing. I just need something that I can like share, etc., and have indirect traffic and have some maybe partnership, maybe startup visa, etc. So I'm not like feeling this project can be made around money, but it definitely can be made around some coolness. And coolness is not bad. It's not bad if you have some budget. Of course, if you don't have any budget, the coolness is going down its rapid speed. But I have some. So,
but what I'm hearing from you is that you still don't want to do marketing yourself. That you want to hire somebody to do the TikToks for you, right?
yes, yes. Because I don't enjoy using TikTok at all. Man. I just don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy the Instagram. I don't like those feeds, etc. I like the X, for example. I sincerely wasted my time on this platform without any evil power outside or something really that forces me to do so. But I just don't like this short-term content. I don't feel like this is me. I just close immediately almost all TikTok or YouTube shorts or Instagram Reels content I see. Like, hey, this is some kind of that. Okay, let's go next. Understand. So yeah, it's just not for me. It's not for me.
I wonder if it's avoidable for us though. So I wonder how. I mean, I think you're right. If you find somebody who has the time to spend and is maybe a younger student, it's gonna be great. I don't know where to look for them. Maybe on the freelance platforms, there are some people just making a side buck and next to their studies. That could be. I was also I've seen I think this week, last week, Adria with his many apps, however many they are right now, started doing his marketing. He went with GenViral.io, I think, a tool which says that it takes care of many of these things for you. So it kind of has some bank of their own devices which are warmed up already for specific markets or whatever. And so like it's a service that you it's just online in browser, schedule your things. I don't know if they also generate reels using some AI or some pre-made templates. So I'm kind of curious. I have a fear that if everybody uses such a service, then of course all of the marketing ends up looking the same, and it ends up being completely self-disqualifying and not working for anybody. Because I don't know how it works for you. For me, when I see a reel that is clearly AI, I'm just disgustingly scrolling away. Because what the fuck?
Yes.
It's going to be interesting to see his stats. And then there's the second approach, but that's very time intense on your time, where you just go with Jack's approach, right? You have your own side phone, you warm up your account over 5 days, and then you post your own reels. But it takes, from my perspective, so much time to create all those reels. It becomes a full-time job to do that kind of organic marketing.
Exactly. Yes, and especially
but I guess it then can work much better, like it does for Jack, right? I mean, with this lovely app, that was an immediate success because of the TikTok marketing that he's done, which was very good.
100%. But hello, Michael. We have one more participant.
Perfect. So but you don't want to go that way, right? You said you want to outsource it for now.
I think like Google Ads will work for me, and the hiring of some guy after that. I for example, for the sober tracker, I think like TikTok or something like that, it's not super working. The highest available influencers on the sobriety scene are like 100k subscribers. It's not big market at all. And I also think like those things are not pretty much TikTokable. I don't know. TikTokable. Let's use this word. For example, if you have some social app, or for example, you have the app about the relationships, the app about some education, for example, TikTok would work. But for sobriety is a theme for the guys like me, like 30 years plus years old, or maybe 40 even, and we all hate TikTok and Instagram. So I think like it's not for. I will not find anyone in this niche, and if I find it's like 2k traffic more, I can just put this thing in the Google Ads and receive this thing in 2 days. So it feels like it's waste of time. It's waste of time. I should not waste any time more promoting the super tracker, or for example, I was thinking about water tracker, but it's like fantasies. It's not going to work. The drinking, like sobriety or water drinking, it's not the thing that I sincerely would like to promote on some TikTok, because it's like strange. For me, for example, sobriety is more about like you're uh, having some experience by yourself. You have some forum with some guys who have these problems. You have some simple tracker app with some kind of journaling that is very simple, and that's enough. If someone is dancing around in TikTok video describing the sobriety, it's not giving any value at all. It's not funny thing to do. It's not like some motivating thing to do. It's just something that you should do in your 30 plus, because the payment is too much.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Hey Michael, how are you doing?
Hi, how are you both? You okay?
Well, excellent, yeah.
Yeah, good. Good to meet you both. Good to speak to you both as well over a call rather than it being tweets.
Absolutely, yeah. So what's up with you? What are you working on these days?
Do you know, just currently at the moment, I'm actually working on my current 9 to 5. I'm just sort of looking into the API requests at the moment. So just to give you a bit of a background of what I do. So the company I work for, we have a curtain and blind estimating system. So, you know, like soft furnishings, home furnishings. So we've got sort of like a calculation tool which allows our customers to easily quote for products to get a price. So the next natural step for that is allowing our customers to sell their products on a web shop like Shopify or WooCommerce and things like that. So currently at the moment, I'm just sort of working my actual current 9 to 5 job. But my side sort of project, I've just sort of released a CV/resume creator helping tool. Yeah, that sort of allows you to edit a CV that you've already got, create a brand new one. You know, you can post job adverts from, you know, LinkedIn, Indeed, or, you know, any sort of other job application place, and we can sort of use AI to generate the CV to match that job that you're asking for. So yeah, that's what I'm sort of working at the moment. Quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and I see in your bio as well some changelog
Yeah,
app as
yeah.
well.
Yeah, so changelog is well, the original idea for changelog, hence the name, was to automate your changelogs. So you'd be able to connect your GitHub account, or you know, maybe even DevOps, for example, and it would sort of automatically generate a nice looking changelog that you can then ship to your customers or ship directly to your website. But to be honest with you, there's a lot of places like that out there, and I didn't really want to sort of, I don't know, sort of try and market that in a area that's already crowded. So the sort of shift to that was ended up becoming like a website monitoring tool. So you just mentioned just before about, you know, if there are sort of other, you know, people out there that have got sobriety tools, you know, competitors, for example, this tool will actually allow you to monitor any changes that they make to their site. So if they make a change to the pricing, you know, change something in the privacy policy or cookie policy, for example, you know, changelog will actually allow you to generate an alert for you to let you know that it's been updated. Yeah, so they're the two that I'm working on at the moment.
That's actually a cool idea, yeah, especially for the builders. If you have competitors you want to keep an eye on
Yeah.
to track their. Okay, that's interesting. But how do you then approach marketing and selling those two? So where do you find your audience? How do you, or where will you find your audience? And how will you manage to monetize these two, unless they are free tools that you simply try to build as a hobbies on the side, right? You said you have your 9 to 5, which is quite important to you. So how do you approach that?
Yeah, so with the changelog system, the whole idea around that was, and you just hit the nail on the head with that. So you mentioned about builders and founders that sort of have an idea to create a tool, and they find out that there's a lot of other tools on the market that are similar to them. Now, 9 times out of 10, I find that most people that recreate a tool that already is available, they've got the functionality of being able to actually change their pricing and keep their pricing low because they haven't got bigger companies that manage those tools. They've not got a lot of overheads. It's just maybe one single guy, one single girl, for example. So the changelog sort of marketing push was mainly towards people that are maybe in the building public community that's on Twitter or X, sorry. But the CV side is actually probably the most difficult one, really, because I've got an API that links it in with a UK job search tool. So the marketing really needs to be against UK people, really, because if you're American or European, you can go on there and create a CV, but you wouldn't get the full shebang, if that makes sense. So I've been looking at using like Facebook ads, Meta ads. We use them in our actual company. They sort of work for us. So I might look at doing them, might look at doing Google ads. Definitely paid ads will be the way, because I know that if I pay, I've got a decent return on that. I know that people will use it, but it's just finding the right avenue for that, really. What do you guys use?
I mean, we have, okay, I can start. I mean, I have much more B2C retail client
Okay, yeah.
oriented app or apps now. If I also consider what is in the pipeline and in review. So that means I don't know a community that I could use on some one particular social media, right? So what I see works really good is, of course, builders building other builders, because yeah, well, we all support each other and we all share connections, and sure, I think that niche is quite easy to start in. But for outside of that niche, so for me that would be with my first app, some kind of a health conscious audience. It's tricky. So I
Yeah.
mean, where I have success is App Store ads, because there I can kind of optimize the App Store listing and also target quite well what pays back, and also the audiences that really I know will commit and will subscribe with decent enough probability. So it works well, but it doesn't scale very nicely, because they can become those ads, unless you're just scraping the bottom of, let's say, the cheap visitors, cheap impressions on the platform. If you want to really increase the impressions that you get, you have to start paying quite a lot per 1,000 impressions or per action, per conversion, and it stops paying back. So it's nice for a initial return, but to me it doesn't scale. So that's something that I still need to solve. I have actually no experience with Facebook ads. So you said that you use that in 9 to 5, and I was going to pick your brain. What works for them? Like, what's your experience? Does it matter which geographical location you target, which audience? What kind of people are reacting well to the Facebook ads?
Yeah, so obviously, as I mentioned with my actual 9 to 5, we are very niche. It's a very, very niche sort of industry. So when it comes to sort of setting up our geographical, sort of reach for the advert itself, our sort of audience is very, very minimal, because we can't sort of do an advert to the masses, because to 99% of people that advert is irrelevant. So if I go onto an advert and create it and say any business person or any founder or anything like that, then I know that I'm going to be spending, 15, £20 a day on an advert that's actually getting in front of, thousands of people. But the click rate of that is going to be very, very minimal, because it's getting in front of people that don't actually care about our system. So what we usually do is we've just got preset ad filters, and ours is just literally unique to the niche that we've got. So curtain and blind makers, fabric companies. So the reach isn't that much. It's a UK based system as well. So we've only got UK and Ireland that we can actually really, go for. So I'd say there's probably maybe like 700,000 people that it reaches, I would say, like when we do like a full stint of an advert. But obviously for your sort of niche, I mean, you could reach anybody really, and especially with the sobriety one as well. I mean, it opens up a lot of avenue to reach a lot of people, so you can sort of target as many different categories as you want.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, what we just discussed before you came in is that we are seeing as well with various ad campaigns that it's very easy to talk to, let's say, English speaking audience, and even easier to speak to US speaking audience. As a US speaking, I mean, US culturally, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's, you know how to sell and how to pitch your idea. But it seems that whenever you speak to other audiences, already UK is going to be different. But then, of course, if you also, let's say, localize to German or to French or to whatever, you have to almost, like, it's not even about just translation. You have to address people completely differently. You have to have different product page. You have to have a different message. Sometimes it's community oriented, sometimes it's status oriented, sometimes it's just dry academic fact oriented, right? So it's, even though you reach those people, to convert them is yet another challenge. And it's intuitive to us when when it's about our own cultures, because you've grown up in a certain culture. You know the tiny intuitive details about what is important in the culture, but it's very hard to convert if you're just targeting the whole world or the whole Europe or whatever, even if you have, let's say, translations and everything, because somehow your tone is going to be off. You're not getting something about how people think in that environment.
Absolutely.
I have tried the Korean ads, for example, in Google Ads, and it's not working for me, because I have some conversion, etc., but I don't have any paid users, and I just don't understand. Because, for example, in the US market, I have less paid for the click and I have more conversions, but so it's not like something I will continue to do, to burn some money in Korean ads. They are not converting. I will just increase my US budget. That's why I'm doing right now.
Yeah, it's definitely difficult, especially, you know, if you've got a broader audience to go for. You know, your application isn't sort of UK locked or sort of geographical locked. You know, anybody anywhere can use your apps and stuff that you've created. So yeah, it's difficult. And you know, like you said, even though, you know, the US have, you know, the same language as what we've got and things like that, you know, the sort of wording and the changes that you'd have to make to actually get in front of the right person and capture that right person, it is really hard. It's really hard to do. I mean, yeah, it's difficult, but it's also something that you have to do. You have to try it, because if you don't try it, then you might end up, you know, losing out on a percentage of something. But I think there's definitely a time where it comes where you look at the end of the month, and if you spent over, you know, over budget, then yeah, definitely it would be good to pull the plug on that for sure.
There's a great post on X. I can point you to if you're interested in these things. I found it extremely insightful from a guy with the handle DE_Henne, HENNE, who's a German guy, he's a German maker with a name robot, I think, app and some other apps as well. And he shared his Excel sheet where he kind of analyzed some of the cultures where he's selling his product and how the tone has to change between them. And so he's a German guy. He says in Germany, I cannot make it if I'm addressing people as if they were a US audience with bombastic claims, with you know, this is great value, this is, you know, now you're saving money and you're going to get these bombastic results. The German audience wants dry facts, almost academic. But then when you go to US, you have to be bombastic. You have to be kind of slightly almost exaggerating, like, okay, this is the deal you're getting, and this is why it's amazing, and these are the results you're going to get. And then when you go to India, suddenly you have to be very community and social strata, social status oriented, and put those things into the forefront of your messaging. And so that I find extremely insightful. That was so interesting, and that's what I meant also between US and UK. My intuition says that UK is not as, let's say, bombastic claims sensitive as US would be. So there's going to be a different tone. You would know that the best. You could tell us, right? How do you speak to your audience to make it?
Yeah, I mean, we like I say, the adverts and stuff that we sort of put out, it can't be flamboyant, it can't be, you know, making crazy claims that, you know, obviously aren't true. It has to be true to life, you know. And I also find that, you know, with our product that we offer as well, you have to sort of, you know, you can sort of get lost in explaining your, like, over explaining your systems. It's good for this, it's good for that, and you know, from that point of view of a user sort of scrolling through the phone in an evening and things like that, you have to. It's hard, but you have to make something that just captures that attention straight away. And you know, I've tried it before where we've done different terminologies, different openings, different images that we've created that sort of, you know, I mean, I will use the word flamboyant, but like you said, you know, bombastic, that sort of stuff. And we tried that before, and a lot of people they just scroll past it. They really, really do, because our sort of target audience as well are, you know, they're companies, they're professionals. You know, they also want things to look nice as well. You know, with the industry that we're in, you know, interior designers, they want everything to look nice. But you know, when you're looking at doing an advert that's reaching thousands, if not millions of people, you know, it's hard to sort of maybe capture the attention of every single one of them. But yeah, I mean, I feel like, I mean, this is probably me just being very, well, optimistic probably. But if you had a product that was very US led, you could probably make it more in the USA, even if you was doing an advert from a European country, if that makes sense. Because the terminology is very easy to understand. I always find sort of maybe the American mindset is a lot more easier to get into, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. And also, we are all drenched in the US culture, right? Because
Maybe
this
that
is what
might
we
be it.
do.
Yeah, maybe that might be why.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also, I mean, where all the builders compete. So that's, I mean, whenever you build your app, you rarely localize it for wherever in Europe you might be sitting. You very often start with the US market, right? Which is,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, and we all compete there. There's an argument to be made, which Ivan made last week, that the other markets are therefore somewhat underserved. I mean, how often if you sit in Germany, you try to download an app and it's just some let's say easy conversion of a US app. It only has English, so if you're not perfect in English, you might be losing out. You might not understand fully the value that it brings you. So there's niches in those markets which are not so you know, where there's not so much competition and where you might make it if you can provide local talent.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to be fair, I actually saw Mark Liu, I think is how you say his name. He put a tweet on about a French company that created a CV making tool with automatic tracking scanning on there. And he said that within the first month he made like $2,000 or something like that, and he sold the company for like $40,000. So that is actually the reason why I started looking at the CV site, to be honest with you, because I thought, well, if it's obviously worked over in the French market, you know, you go onto the website and it's all in French. You can obviously translate it to the UK and whatnot, well, English and whatnot. But I thought, well, there's obviously a gap there. And it was sort of like what you're saying there, where you go to a sort of country where that market is underserved. You know, I find like a lot of people recreate things that already exist. But how about going to a market where there's an app that's excelling in the native tongue of where that app is, and recreating that as an English version or whichever. And I think that'd be a really cool sort of exercise to do maybe one time, and actually just, you know, scour the app store of, you know, the most popular apps that are in maybe a different language, for example.
Actually, this talk lends me to the thought that probably as a Russian, I have much more easier to like create some products for Germany, for example, because we have a very same cultural things around being very specific, being around facts, etc. For me, it's very natural, like to describe my product in the terms like this do this stuff, this doing this stuff, and I have this, have a good day. So yeah, probably I should think more about localization on those markets where I am thinking like those people. So and the US market too. Maybe I just need to be more organic and just
Yeah, maybe.
not to pretend like I'm some different guy, for example, that loves to watch TikToks or something like that. So maybe
Yeah, look, if you'll make it the way that you want to make it. I feel like a lot of people get caught up on, you know, and you know what, also as well, it's easy to fall into that place, especially when you log on to you log on to X and you see somebody that's maybe 16, 17 years old that's making $10,000, MRR every month. And you think, well, okay, well, they do TikTok ads, they do Facebook ads, they do Google ads. I need to do all of those to sort of try and even get to that. And to be fair, the reality is if you focus a lot on a system that you've got, and if you believe in the product that you've got, which I can tell that you do, by the way, and I have looked at both of your products just quickly, and they look really, really great. I might add to that. But that takeaway from the conversation is maybe 100% fully create that for the area you're in, and once you've got that, and once you understand that feedback, then you can start sort of excelling to different markets maybe. I mean, another thing as well is, there's a lot of sobriety stuff over in the UK as well recently, and that's definitely something that we're finding a lot of people are getting involved in. I've just recently done Dry January as well, which is really popular in the UK. I don't know whether you have that where you are as well, but basically for the month of January you don't drink at all. So you do 31 days, no alcohol. And then obviously you can either carry on after, or you can go back to your old ways. But yeah, I mean, I done that in January, and we're 5 days into February now, and yeah, and I've still not drank yet. So maybe that might be something I start doing as well. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely markets for all of this stuff. It's just about making that application stand out to the rest. It's always trying to find, a lot of people spend a lot of time trying to find a niche. But maybe the actual view that we should start looking at is what's the niche within the niche. Okay, what is niche about a change that you can make within an area that's actually overcrowded already? And I found that with the CV, for example, a lot of apps, you can create a CV, you can create a resume, you can add automatic tracking scores to it, you can create covering letters. But one of the updates that I made yesterday to that was that we can generate a list of 5 questions that we think an interviewer might ask about the job that you're actually applying for. And when I obviously did that update and added that in, I sort of thought, well, hang on a minute, maybe this can become more than a CV maker. What if this becomes the next sort of evolution of online job applications? So it's all about sort of trying to find the niche within the niche, which sounds obviously very weird to say that, but it genuinely is about finding a niche that's in a niche already that exists, I think. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's like I think the best thing is thinking about this thing is like you are doing it in the process. So when you're producing some app, you will have some thoughts around it, and you probably will find some things that missing your concurrents, your rivals are missing. For example, when I was doing the super tracker, for example, I have like examined a few my rival apps, and they every one of those, everything of those apps was requesting account, was requesting some subscription system, etc. And I decided that probably I will not have this, because I know that this is like appropriate, the systematic way of how everyone is treating the apps. They have some accounts, they have some subscriptions, but in my opinion, for the trackers, it's not like required. This is some ground that I'm standing on. I just don't wanna create any account in some water tracker, for example. This is just strange for me. Or maybe server tracker is just not needed in my opinion. So maybe my niche, for example, if we are talking about niche inside of the niche, is like an apps that doesn't require, for example, account and have one in app. For sure, if I will find some organic way to integrate the subscription, some organic way to have an account system, for example, for the mathematical apps that I'm working right now, the account system is like very natural. But for the server tracker, it's not natural. So yeah, it's kind of niche inside of the niche. Yeah.
That's what it is. I mean, it's also as well, a lot of these applications nowadays have the option of being able to connect with friends as well.
No.
Now, obviously, if you take the generic, go onto the App Store, you go into a sober tracker, these applications are usually based off the person themselves. you find that probably most of them don't have an area where you can add a friend and compare. I mean, obviously, it's not something that you would like to compare with a friend, for example, but sometimes you find, this chat that we're having now, there's sort of ideas that you have that you wouldn't have if you was talking to yourself, because you're not going back and forth with each other. So, a lot of these applications that allow friends to connect with each other and see each other's progress can actually, in fact, spur them on to carry on a lot longer. If, for example, there was an option within your sober app where it would say, 100 days of sobriety, for example, and obviously the application gives them, I'm going to guess it gives them a bit of a, congratulations, well done sort of message. But to be able to get actual messages back from peers within that community, I feel like that would actually spur them on a lot more, because they're feeling that they're actually getting recognized for it. And I think the human brain sort of works in a weird way that, even though that it's a great task and a great achievement that you've done, it's only until somebody else mentions that you actually start to realize that. So maybe your niche within the niche is to be able to create a community within the app itself, where other people could maybe share their journey with each other.
But maybe I just don't know. I just need to do some experiments then. Actually, the social things are maybe working. For me, it's unclear right now. Yeah, I totally agree that when you have this thing like somebody who is voting for your success in sobriety, for example, it's very cool. But for sure, maybe my niche is around the simplicity that I don't have those things around.
Maybe that might be the case.
Yeah.
Maybe that. I think these things are always difficult because, again, going back to what I mentioned before, is you never really know until you try it.
Yeah.
But I think that's the beauty that we all have, really, with obviously the introduction of these sort of vibe coding tools and stuff that's available, is the fact that, if you want to try that way, you can try it. There's no harm in trying it. Because you'd rather try something and fail than not try something at all, I always say. So yeah, definitely something to look at.
Michael, could I just quickly pick a brain on, you mentioned this product by Mark Liu? Is that, so he was building, because I somehow missed this, French as a product for only French market, only in French. Is that correct for the
Yes, yeah. So the actual the product is called CV Refit. If you go onto Mark's profile, there's a couple of, if you scroll down a few tweets, it's one of the main ones. I think he was making maybe $2,000 in the first 4 weeks. And I'm sure he sold it on Trust MRR, which is obviously the reason why Mark did a tweet about it. But yeah, have a look at it. I mean, it's a really, really good tool, but it's all French. So I just thought, well, maybe I could make the UK version of that.
Yeah, I'm a little flabbergasted actually, because I always thought that he goes for the global market with the English apps. The fact that for him it worked to go for such a localized niche is super interesting. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, it wasn't something that Mark created himself. It was something that somebody's added onto Trust MR and maybe added it for sale, maybe. And obviously he tweeted about that. So yeah, it wasn't something that he actually created himself. But I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he created something that makes that much money straight away, though, because he always seems to be able to do that. But yeah, go on there and have a look. It's called CV Refit. Yeah.
It would be actually interesting. I have to check what options we have to filter on Trust MRR. If you can somehow drill down into the market intelligence for different niches, you can say, okay, tell me how successful localized apps are versus those that are just generic English targeted, US market oriented. That would be interesting comparison.
Which is why he makes all of these apps and they all make money. Because he gets there before we do.
Well, okay, I don't know. I don't know how much you've seen of his history. There's been years of suffering to get there, right? So
yeah, of course, of course. Yeah, I mean, it's the same with everything, really, isn't it? You only sort of see the now, really.
Yeah,
you only see the now of that. But yeah, I mean, it's easy to sort of get lost on that for sure. Listen, it's been great talking to you both. I have to go now because I've got a meeting at 10, which is now. So yeah, maybe next time you do one of these talks, I'll set this up as like a notification so I know that you're both joining, and yeah, maybe I can join again.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that'll be excellent.
Yep.
Yeah,
thanks for
perfect.
joining, and
have a good rest of the day, guys. Cheers.
I do.
Cheers.
Bye.
And actually, Ivan, we are through with the hour. I think we're also going to be slowly wrapping up, right? There's so many things always to talk about. Maybe a time comes when we do it twice a week.
Actually, yeah, because you know, we have now the speed of the changes are much more higher. So the period like pre-vibe coding era, it was like very slow guys doing some slow things, and yeah, maybe 1 week is decent. But right now, actually, I almost finished the mathematician app. I almost relaunched the new app against the uh, for the 14th of February, Saint Valentine's Day. I have one app cooking right now about some video generating hearts, etc. So yeah, it's just super quick right now, and probably we can discuss like more.
You're right. And yet, I was very amazed. I thought that last year must have been the best year for app releases on the Apple App Store, but it's not. 2016 is the cap. We have not reached yet that peak. So I thought everybody would be shipping like crazy apps, but I think there's less. I think the builders like us are, but I suppose there's not so many of them or of us. And there's not so much enthusiasm as there was in 2016 of everything of what is possible, and maybe the market is unexplored. So surprisingly enough, I don't think it's per se. You can ship a lot, but I don't think many people are shipping a lot. I think there's
Yes.
still a lot of potential for us.
Actually, I think these things are not easy at all. These things are required to have some analysis, some market analysis, some development experience, etc. It's not super simple at all. Everyone, yeah, it's we are living in some kind of bubble. Everyone is launching their apps. They are doing like 10k MRR, but it's like a fraction of percent actually, and a lot of guys just dropping the things without any success just because they didn't earn any money in 1 month or 2 months or 3 months. Actually, for example, the super tracker have started earning some money in half of the year. I think a lot of guys will drop anything in half of the year. And for example, I am running right now actively, and 3 months ago I was like super fat, slowy guy, and right now actually I can run 10 kilometers. I can run under 5 kilometers. So the effect of the low base is like super good, super cool, and super huge. And even to achieve 500 or $1,000 as revenue is pretty rare case, and it's pretty hard. And I do think that you know, it's not going to be easier. It's just going to be harder, just because a lot of guys will start experimenting more. A lot of companies will start experimenting more just because of the tools, and they have some much more budgets at all, etc. So yeah, probably I'm not expecting like exploding the builders amount actually, because it's hard. It's hard. It's not immediately gives you any enjoyment. Of course, everyone is happy in 1 month or 2 months, but 3 months without money and the happiness flew away, and without any job. This romanticization of, okay, I'm burning the bridges, I'm going all in. Yeah, maybe it will work for one guy, but 1,000 guy will try to find another job.
Yes.
Yeah, it's nobody is talking about this because we are this call is very cool because yeah, I finally understand. This is American thing. This is American thing. You need to burn, you need to count all in, etc. Nobody cares, blah blah blah. This is very motivational American stuff. Like, but real life is not these pictures. Real life, in 1,000 guys who are trying to do so, one will succeed. And this carrot and the donkey metaphor, yeah, carrot is always there. So yeah, I think we can be like more European style indie hackers that can just, bring more reality to the talks. Like, you can do this, you can do that, you can. Yes, you can, but you need to take into the account all the circumstances, etc. So yeah, maybe this is our niche at all. I feel like I have much more common in this culture of reality than in the culture of motivation. It's not like feeling natural for me. I don't like this thing because I am already pretty old. I am 36 and I have seen a lot of things already that some of them work, some of them don't work, and there is much more things that don't work at all than things that.
That's normal. That's normal for everybody. That's normal for VC investing. That's normal for startups. That's normal if you look at Levels' number of attempts or Mark's number of products versus the successes. I think somewhere between like 2 to 4%.
Yes,
5% hit
it's
rate
super demotivating amount of.
Failed 20 times. Yeah.
Yes, but it is what it is. So this is the same thing goes with any sport. I think with anything in life. You need to enjoy the process. If you don't enjoy the process, in some time the results will.
Yes, but also you have to.
Disappoint
you can't always enjoy the process. Sometimes life sucks or the process sucks. You just have
yes, for sure. Yeah, for sure. You need to be adaptive guy. But if you don't enjoy it and you pretend to enjoy it, you will be punished at one period of time for sure, because when you will not have any results, you will just like, okay. And you will not continue. For me, I'm just enjoying pushing a lot of shit posting on Twitter, for example. I'm doing it just for the lulz. I need to even increase the temperature of my posting because I'm pretty much cautious guy that trying to be like avoiding any edges. I need to be like level CO and post some strange content that will create some discussions, etc. So yeah,
perhaps
maybe we can have some records. Maybe, for example, I think Tom, because we have talked with Tom about the reality of indie hacking, maybe in 2 months ago. Maybe we can invite him and talk about the reality, harsh reality of the indie dev. Because we have some experience for sure. We can share it, that it's not always like pink clouds, etc.
Absolutely.
And you need to be prepared. So
it is like that. Okay, 70 minutes in. Let's wrap up today, at least the recordings. Then I'll maybe still chat to you about a few things afterwards. Was great. Thanks. So I will be gone next 2 weeks. It's up to you to carry on the torch.
I will try. I will try to continue. Yeah, we need to create some schedule just because it creates the feeling that this thing is not temporary. Like some guy is just, okay, let's do some new community and channel, and they just disappear in 2 days. So yeah, we will use our power, our stubbornness, and we will just put our opinion and share our opinion to others' minds. And for example, today this connection from Michael was very cool because
very nice.
Because this thing about motivational speeches and the difference in cultures are it is driving me right now. I'm thinking actively about it right now, so it's very cool that someone is also thinking about this stuff.
100%. Yeah. All right, Ivan. Thanks for today.
Thank you.
And good luck next 2 weeks, and I will see you in a couple of weeks again.
Okay. Have a nice trip.
Oh. Thank you very much. Take care. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.